Welcome to the Fantasy Football Prophet Podcast, hosted by Craig Phillips and Jeff Torrey. Visit us at fantasyfootballprophet.com. And now your hosts, Craig and Jeff.
Welcome, everyone, to the Fantasy Football Prophet Podcast. I'm Craig Phillips, and I actually found a co-host for tonight. So Jeff Torrey decided to join the podcast. Jeff, welcome. Welcome to the show. How's it
back?
So we could talk Jets Broncos, I guess, but I really don't feel like it that much right now. So maybe we will. But I wanted to first just you didn't get a chance to talk about Justin Jefferson, Jeff. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's one of your guys. You hyped him quite heavily. You ranked him way ahead of consensus. Like, I mean, a good 25 spots at least ahead of consensus. And through the first 2 weeks, it was a rookie. We didn't see much. Like, maybe it won't happen. And then week 3 happened, and man, he just broke out in a big way, a monster game. And I mean, you got to be feeling good about that one, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he does again, right? I mean, anyone can have one big game, but the first couple weeks did worry me, but it's been a very strange year. So you kind of stick with, the reasons why you think they're going to be very good, the talent, the situation, everything, that kind of goes around it. And I was very, very pleasantly surprised with how well week 3 came out for him. I mean, my gosh, he showed everything that you wanted to see. The Vikings, their passing offense, was better with him, heavily involved, which is great. I think they desperately needed someone besides Thielen. So am I happy? Very, very much so, because I have that guy on a lot of different rosters. I was, kind of debating what to do with him if Vikings were going to come through. But that's kind of like – that's just what it is this year. You really have to give him a little more rope than you normally would, because things are getting strange and injuries are occurring. So I'm glad he broke out, but I'm hoping this continues. That will be, that will really tell me if I'm right or wrong.
Yeah, it was a good weekend for your later round receivers. Like Alan Lazard had a huge game, but now he's hurt. Now he just he got hurt. Now he's had surgery, so he's out for a while. So, but
I cannot keep up with everyone going to the IR anymore. Like I literally have a team, one of my main ones. The entire bench, no joke, is either out for this week or on IR. And I'm just waiting. I can't get rid of a lot of these guys. I need them. So it's been strange. It's been a very weird year.
And then, the big news that came down today is Steelers-Titans is officially postponed, which as of last night's episode when I was talking, I thought it was still going to be on. And then a couple more positive tests came back, and there's that. It's going to be a bye week for the Steelers and Titans now, which is rough. But at least we got, enough prior warning, I feel like, so people can make your adjustments. I don't know how they're going to redo the scheduling, but hey, if you have a Steelers or Titans players, just get their bye out of the way. It's over. So this is it. And then you just keep going with them. So
yeah, I should my last one, technically it's either out, IR or postponed.
Yeah, right.
Because I did have a couple of those. Derrick Henry is going to be the big one. That obviously hurts. It hurts me in a lot of leagues. It's going to hurt a lot of other people.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll find out. I mean, this could happen more than just this one time. So, we'll see how it kind of factors in.
So actually, before we get to the game, though, there was just a tweet I saw just a little bit ago. I just want to get your opinion on it and what you think after last couple of weeks what we saw. So this is from Dynasty Masters on Twitter, and he says, Lamar Jackson isn't a top 5 fantasy QB anymore. He's been exposed by NFL defensive coaches.
What, exposed in one game?
I mean,
are
you on board with that? He lists Mahomes, Wilson, Dak, Kyler Murray, and Josh Allen as better quarterbacks than him right now, fantasy-wise.
Okay. I mean, first of all, everyone he named can put up big numbers. There's no doubt about it. There's a lot of QBs that are really balling out of control right now. We talked about Wilson ourselves. Mahomes is obviously, he was one of the two, either him or Lamar. And he definitely shined in that game, right? So do I give him that big of a, can I really say, oh, he's out of his mind? No, but I think he's overreacting. And I would also say that I would still take Lamar over every single one of them. You could make an argument for Mahomes just because of how well he did. And I still take Lamar because guess what? I don't think that game shows how they can hold him. I was surprised. Yeah, I was. But I've yet to see it happen more than this one time where they completely took him out of his element, or it just wasn't a game flow or whatever it may have been. But I think that is I'm trying to be nice about it, but I think that's a ludicrous statement.
So we'll revisit that after the games this weekend. We'll see if our mind changes.
I hope he puts up 40 and then I don't have to hear about this stuff.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit early to overreact. Yeah, it's disappointing. He's not putting up the big, huge numbers the last 2 weeks, but week 1 he looked great. He threw, so could be an overreaction with a lot of other quarterbacks playing really, really well right now.
Well, that's the thing. Wilson, and when you're throwing for 5 touchdowns, it's going to look a little awkward. But no, I don't know.
All right, so I got that stuff out of the way because I thought that was more interesting than actually this game we got to talk about here. So Broncos beat the Jets 37-28. I mean, there are actually some points on the board here. Brett Rippon was the quarterback today for Denver, undrafted free agent last year or the year before. I'm not exactly sure which year because I haven't really paid attention to him very much. The last time I've heard the name Rippon was his uncle Mark Rippon playing for the Redskins in like 1990. So I don't really know much about Brett, and I'll say he wasn't terrible. I don't say tonight. He did have the 2 picks in 3 plays, 1 return for a touchdown. That was kind of ugly, but I mean, it was for a guy who just isn't been an NFL quarterback really, hasn't played. It was fine enough. They got the win, right? So he was decent enough. Obviously, for him, for fantasies, he's not a thing. But it was just about how he can make the players around him relevant enough. And actually, you had some guys tonight that were good enough. Start at the running backs, but Melvin Gordon with that last touchdown there, that 43-yarder there towards the end, it really boosted his day to make it look a lot better than it was before. That would have been 22 yards for 22 carries for 64 yards. Not as good, but it would have been a touchdown. But hey,
he still would have had a touchdown before that.
Yeah, exactly.
He was heavily involved. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it definitely made it look a lot better than it really was. But he looks good. Can you get enough, through the air in order to kind of loosen that front lineup? And he looked good when he was running it. So I'm all in on the Melvin Gordon train, especially with all the injuries occurring.
And then the receiving game. So Tim Patrick led the way. There's 6 catches, 113 yards, a touchdown. He looked pretty good actually. I guess coming in, everyone thinks it's going to be Jerry Jeudy, right? It's supposed to be the guy. And Jeudy had 2 for 61. He did have an awesome touchdown catch, though. He just took it from that defensive back. Absolutely took it from him and scored the touchdown. So you see the potential there with Jeudy. It's just only 3 targets today. So you'd like to see that go up. And then so I don't even see KJ Hamler on this list here for some reason. No. I know he had a target, though. I thought he had a target for sure.
Yeah, I thought he did. That was the surprising one for me. I thought with Sutton going down, you would give this speedster. I mean, I know they have Deshaun Hamilton too, who's also very fast, but I thought they would get him more involved. And he has been in other weeks, so I'm not sure what happened here, but yeah, for me, even Jerry Jeudy. I mean, the fact they targeted him 3 times, but to me that feels not enough. And really, I mean, Jerry Jeudy he did himself a big favor because that ball was a little bit underthrown. That defender was right there. Yep. You're right. He took it away from him. It was awesome. Good for him. Tim Patrick was the only one that stood out for me. I do have to ask, I mean, is he someone that you are looking towards? Because 7 targets, 6 receptions, 113 yards, a touchdown. He looked very competent. He looked as like a good wide receiver.
He did.
And if Rippon has to play again, he's going to go back to him. I mean, how comfortable would you be playing him?
I don't say I'd necessarily be comfortable, but I think he's definitely going to make our waiver wire show next week. I feel
right.
Like he's for sure a waiver wire ad. It depends on the depth of your league, kind of, and how desperate you are at wide receiver. But he's not a bad fill-in if he's going to play like this. And I mean, I guess. Who's his quarterback going to be too? We don't know if is Locke going to be back yet. I think that's pushing it probably. So it might be Rippon again.
I feel like it'll be one more. I mean, I could be wrong. Everyone hopes, right? It's Locke, but I think Rippon could make one more start. Yep. I think that would be probably my safe bet.
I think he'd be an interesting pickup. I mean, it's going to be him and it's going to be Jerry Jeudy there at this point. And Noah Fant was hurt, but it looks like he's fine.
Okay, I was gonna say I didn't hear any more about it, but I did.
No, I just 1 minute ago, tweet from Adam Schefter says Noah Fant, who was carted off tonight with an ankle injury, the text he got on it, his condition was all good, minor, he'll be fine. So no worries there. It looks like he's going to be good to go. So Fant should be getting a lot of catches too. But I think, Tim Patrick, he was good. And he's not an unknown name either. It's like this isn't like out of nowhere. He's been on the borderline fantasy radar, a little bit last year. So, I think he's worth the pickup and see what he can do. So what about the Jets here? So the Jets, Sam Darnold's really just not that good, I feel like. He got that touchdown run, which was
it was very
odd.
Impressive.
Yeah.
I know it kind of looked like the players didn't really know what was happening. Like, can I hit the quarterback?
Right.
it was impressive. Like when I watched him do it, I literally got excited. I was like, oh, what a great play. Like good play by him. What a scramble. The rest though, he got knocked out. Flacco 2 for 2.
Right.
There's your savior right there, New York. Flacco.
And I didn't think Darnold looked terrible before the injury. I thought he was competent enough, and they were going down the field a bit, and then he had the injury, and he wasn't really the same after that.
I always wonder that, because I think competent is a good word for him, because he looks decent, right? Like when you're watching him, if you only watch a series, you're like, oh, this quarterback can play, and then when he puts a whole game together, you're kind of like, what is it, the team? Is it the wide receivers? And a little bit of both. I mean, Jets are not that good, and the wide receivers didn't do him any favors, right? But at the same time, 23 for 42, 230 yards, and no TDs, no interceptions. It's just very vanilla, very, I don't know, like take a couple more shots, do something.
Mm-hmm.
Like at least with the rushing, like that run, you're thinking that he did something dynamic, but that was out of necessity because, the pocket collapsed around him. He just started running and no one stopped him. I don't want to take that away from him. It was much more athletic than I thought he was.
Yeah.
But I cannot watch him and think this is the future of the New York Jets, where they drafted him, 3rd overall a couple years ago.
It just doesn't seem to be there.
Doesn't seem to be working out.
The ground game is just not something you want to be a part of. It's just not. Sorry, Frank. It's good to see you're still playing, but I don't want you for fantasy, Jeff. And you did start it.
Well, on that team that is half injured,
what are you going to do? It was basically what?
It's brutal.
It was probably between him and Ito Smith or something from the
bench. I'm not gonna lie. Chances of winning this week do not look good.
Hey, it's he sold off every future fantasy prospect last year to win that title.
Oh, I need McCaffrey to come back. I need a lot of people to come back, and I need people to start playing well. For that team.
Receivers here. So Crowder comes back after missing a week, and 7 for 104, 10 targets. So in week 1, he was 7 for 115 on 13 targets. Crowder is going to be a fantasy option this year. I mean, there's no way around it. He's as bad as Darnold might be. It doesn't really matter if Crowder's going to get targets like that and catch 7 for 100 every week. He might not get the touchdown, but he's a big time fantasy, not big time, but he's a very good fantasy option right now. It looks like. I think he's going to be a very safe one, and not the the most exciting name in the world. It never has been with Jamison Crowder, but he's always been a solid receiver, and he's showing it again. So, I mean, he's pretty much on most rosters at this point. He needs to probably be in there in these lineups. So the second guy, though, 7 catches, 81 yards, Jeff Smith. I'll be honest, I don't know who Jeff Smith is.
I was literally trying to look up what he's done in the other games, because watching the game, he was all over it. I mean, they threw to him a ton. It's kind of, I don't know.
He was just activated. He played last year. I think he got 1 catch last year. He was an undrafted free agent from Boston College. Got a catch last year in like December sometime. And he was just activated today, literally today. Like, this is someone that you would never have expected. And I'm not going to go, say to pick this guy up, because this is interesting. I don't know. I mean, I'm just I literally do not know who this guy is.
No, I don't. He got a good amount of targets, and that's all I know.
Yeah.
But I do have to. I will say this: Chris Hogan was number 3, and he did exactly what you think he's going to do. He got 7 targets, I believe. He only caught a few of them. He averaged like 5 yards a catch.
Yeah.
And then Chris Herndon, I mean,
for the Chris Herndon,
that train should be just with, right?
And this Chris Herndon thing, like,
it was bad, man. I mean, and then he had that bad drop at the end too, on top of not being targeted all that often, which, I mean, Darnold desperately needed people to throw to.
Chris Herndon just never done anything. I don't understand the Chris Herndon love, and it's out there. And I mean, just last week I posted on Instagram did a players you can drop list, and I had people pushing back on Chris Herndon. I'm like, the guy's never done anything. Like,
I have to keep that. I have a good feeling about this one.
it's done. It's over. Give it up. Okay, just give it up. It's not going to happen.
And on top of that, I mean, let's be honest. There's very few people on the Jets that you want.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I want Crowder. I want Crowder, and that's about it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And even him, he would be a lower, wide receiver for me because the touchdown upside just does not exist, on the Jets.
Doesn't.
I mean, they had 28 points. As far as I know, I mean, the rushing Darnold touchdown was the only one the offense really created. And a defensive touchdown and a bunch of field goals. Like, kicker maybe.
I guess. They're just not a good team. So, and then the Braxton Berrios thing. I saw a couple things to say start Braxton Berrios, which is weird and odd, and don't do that because he didn't do anything. It's like Crowder's back. There's no use for Braxton Berrios. It's over. So, all right, that's it. Jets, Broncos, exciting Thursday night football. They just bring up the best matchups, don't they?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I'm kind of curious what next week's is because this was just a terrible game. I'm really sorry. Bucks Bears. That's not bad. I like to see the Bucks. So
yeah.
Anytime I can see Brady, I'm interested in that a little bit.
Can't wait to watch what we assumed was coming. The Trubisky / the whole quarterback controversy thing.
Man, they already they got rid of him quick. It wasn't even like he was that bad.
No, but I was laughing. I was watching that one live for a little bit, and as soon as they pulled Trubisky, I was like, oh, I knew it. I knew this was. Yep. I knew this. They were waiting for it, and any excuse to get rid of him.
Pretty much. So, all right, that'll do it. We'll talk to you guys Sunday night as we go over the week 4 games. Talk to you then.